Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin'Up. Time for another card making session today. Beautiful day here in Simcoe, Ontario. It's about 3 degrees. It's the 12th of February, and it's 3 degrees here. It's a beautiful day outside and there's no wind, so it really is a nice day. So I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Simcoe, Ontario. If you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, you can shop with me. You can shop at let me think, stampsandtea.gmail.com, or you can try my demonstrator website at stampsandtea.stampinup.net. So welcome everybody. So the card we're going to make today is going to use a brand new stamp set from the January to April 2023 mini catalogue. It's called On the Farm. It comes with, there's a bundle and it comes with stamps and dies, beautiful stamps and dies. The bundle itself is $70, and because it's still celebration time, if you ordered the bundle, you would qualify to pick as one of your free celebration item. There's a paper, a DSP that matches this and goes with this, and it's called Day at the Farm. So you spend $70 on your stamping bundle and you can get the DSP for free. The DSP is all lovely colours, nice bright colours for kids and adults as well. Has some beautiful patterns in, geese and ducks and trees and cows. And the backs are quite nice too. And we've got sheep, cows and pigs that also have matching dies that you can cut out. Now, the dies that we're going to use are, of course, from the On the Farm stamp and die bundle. You can stamp the animals if you wish, or you can cut them from the DSP. We're going to cut them from the DSP. We're also going to use the Seasonal Labels die set just for a couple of cutouts. That's still a current set. That's in the annual catalogue. That's about $50, $52 I think, but it's still in the annual catalogue, so you can still get that. The Happiest of Birthdays that we're going to use for the inside of the card, we're going to use this largest stamp here, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. That stamp set is it's an older stamp set. It was last year or the year before, but it's still a nice stamp set and still a useful stamp set. So let me put those over there. We've got, to make the card, we're using Pear Pizzazz and Daffodil Delight cardstock. The base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. The mat that goes on the front in the Daffodil Delight is 5 1/4 by 4, which will just give us a little border around. We've got 5 1/4 by 4 white for the inside that we're going to stamp on, and we've got a couple of scraps that we're going to stamp and cut out the sentiment for the front and a layer for the front. We're going to cut the animals right out of this paper, out of this sheet of paper here, but the other 3 strips that are on the back of this card, which I've promptly lost, here they are. These are 3 of the DSPs, and we're going to I've cut 3 strips. They are just slightly over 1 1/8 inch wide and 5 inches long. Alright, and they're going to go on the front of the card. So we've got 3 things we're going to stamp. We're going to stamp the Wishing You the Happiest of Birthday, and that's going to go in the center on the inside of the card. We've got a sentiment from the front that says "From All of Us." That's out of the On the Farm stamp set. And we've got a little chicken that I want to use at the top of the card, but I didn't have a chicken that I could cut out of the DSP, so I'm going to have to stamp him and colour him. So we'll do those things first. We're going to stamp for the inside in Pear Pizzazz. Just make some room and get organized here. Right. That looks nicely inked. This is for the piece that's going on the inside of the card. Get a good press, make sure I've got a good image. Nice. And then for the front of the card, I've got a piece of cardstock here that I'm going to stamp the sentiment on and the chicken. So this, the sentiment, is going to go in pear pizzazz, and we're just going to stamp it up a little bit from the bottom of the piece of cardstock that I have, just so that I've got a frame around. Now I moved that, I saw that. Return that, doesn't matter. That's better. Is that going to work? Because I want to stamp, I want to use this die here to cut this out, but I want to move the stamp over to the right hand side. I think I'm going to stamp it again just to be sure, and stamp it more to the right side of my card, my piece of card, because we're going to put a bow on this sentiment as well. So we'll just move it over slightly. There, that'll give me room to get my die around it. And then close that up. Stamp the chicken. There, and we're going to cut. We're going to have to colour the chicken and then cut him out with the other things that we're cutting out. Let me put that die back there so I don't lose it. So to colour the chicken, now bear in mind I'm a city girl and I really don't know what colour a chicken is, so we're going to wing this, no pun intended. I'm just going to colour his little comb. I don't know if it's supposed to be yellow, I'm honestly not sure. A little bit of yellow, and then we're going to use some light cinnamon cider just to colour the chicken in. I'm not really going to bother with any shading on this because it's got some black markings in there which will sort of work for the shading and give it the definition, you know, show you the feathers and things like that. And so I'm just colouring him in light cinnamon cider. It just looked good to me for a chicken, that colour, so there we go. That's all we're going to do for colouring. Now we're going to tape these things down. We're going to cut a piece out of this DSP so that we can get the 3 animals we want. And hopefully, if I'm careful, I might get everything onto my big shot plate all together. Okay, so let me put a plate down so I'll tape them on here and see where I'm putting them. And I'm going to tape them down because I don't want the dies to move. Alright, so we've got this piece here. Alright, this piece is going to be my chicken and my sentiment. Trim that off, keep that for another day. Yeah, that's the right one. And this piece here, I'm going to use this die on to cut a piece to layer my animals onto. Okay, we'll keep that. Let me trim this. And then I'll get them all, hopefully on the same pass through on the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This one doesn't really need to be taped down, doesn't matter where it sits. There, so you see I'm trying to get everything on the plates at the same time. I can move this down a little bit and hopefully let's see what we can do. And let's hope the Stampin' Cut machine works nicely and behaves itself today. Make sure that's right on the sheet. Yep, I think they all are. And then we're going to put this one down on top and hope nothing moves. Start it through, and I'm going to roll it through, and I'm also going to roll it back just because I want to be sure everything has cut out nicely the first time. Let's see what we've got. Well, we've got a chicken, and we've got a sheep, we've got a sentiment, got something to back it on. Oops. We have some piggies and a cow. All right. So we've stamped and coloured. So far I think we've done everything in the right order today. We have this and this now, and we've got this. Now this is a very white piece. It's basic white, and it was just a scrap. It's basic white. It's very bright. When I get it on top of my paper strips, I might just sponge that over with a little bit of colour. I'll think about it as I'm going. Okay, so this piece is going on here like this. And what have I got? Stamp and seal? Yes. Let me look. That's a nice clean side. There. And I should have, because this is a 1/4 inch shorter and a 1/4 inch narrower, I should have a nice 1/8 of an inch all the way around on 3 sides. There. Now I've got these 3 strips, and because I want to be able to slide them around if necessary, I'm going to use liquid glue, liquid adhesive on these strips, so that I can just give them a little push to the side if I need to. Alright, so, and I'm going to put my 2 outside strips on first and then the centre strip last, so that I can sort of try and line them up. Okay, strip number 1, and I should have about an 1/8 of an inch top and bottom and at the side. That looks good. There, that's 1. Now this strip's going on this side. Same again. So we've got about an 1/8 of an inch. Let me move that red one out of the way. About an 1/8 of an inch all the way around again. Three, 2 and 3, and this piece I'm just going to line up in the center, maybe a little wider on the sides than the outside edges, but I'm just lining it up so that they all sort of line up together. Whoops, a little slip there, I gave that a push. There. That's the front of the card to start with. Now this is the piece I was saying is going on the front, and it's quite stark. I think I'm going to sponge this background just very lightly with some Pear Pizzazz and a sponge. Let me just bring in a piece of scrap paper here, and I'm going to use one of my blending brushes. Now this is not a Stampin' Up blending brush, because they didn't have small blending brushes. They do now. There's now a nice new set of small blending brushes, which is $15.75 for 3, and that's not bad at all, because these things, you use them, you wash them out, they're really great. The large set of stamping brushes was a set 3 like this, and there's a huge difference in the size. You know, the new ones are this size and maybe even 2 smaller than this, which is really handy. The big ones are great for stamping, for you know, colouring large areas. Just taking some edge off there, and I'm coming in from the outside edge, and I'm just going to go over it lightly. I don't want huge amounts of green on this. I just don't want it to be quite so white as it was. Maybe a little bit more just around the edges, just to take the harsh edge off the cardstock. There. Yeah, I like that better. I'm just cleaning out my brush on this, and that I'll just run it under the tap with some dishwashing detergent. It will come as clean as can be. Right. Now that I've done that, I now have this sentiment for the front, which is also quite white, so I'm going to just take a tiny little bit of Pear Pizzazz. Just really all I'm doing is taking the shine off the white. That's all I want. I just don't want it to be quite so stark. Alright, so there it goes. There now. So let's put this card together. So I've got this is going on the inside like this. I can pop that in right now. Oops, stuck on it. There we go. There. Yes, that's nice. And I do like that happy birthday, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. That's a really nice sentiment. So we've got this piece here. Let's put this down flat and the animals on dimensional. So this is going to go about 1/4 inch from the top of the red strip, and just right in the center. Gotta make sure. Yeah, that looks good there. Yeah, and I like this, that it's not quite as white as the parts at the side, because it helps it to stand out a little bit. So let's take some dimensionals. We'll pop some animals down. Let's have a look. We got a cow going here. I think we'll put maybe the sheep next. No, the pigs next. Dimensionals. Like that. Yes, sheep. There. One more for the chicken. There. And then we've got a sentiment here. Might as well put that on dimensionals too. We'll set that in the center like that. And then we'll make a tiny little bow to go on there. I've got a piece of baker's twine. Grab my loops, pull my loops. Make this nice and flat. Did you see how I did that? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. One loop, two loops like that. Two loops. One over the other and tuck it through. Grab both of your loops and pull there, and then you just adjust your threads and twist your loops so that your loops are sitting nice and straight and nice and flat, and you just work it a little bit. Pull that back a little bit. There, just like that, not too big. Trim the threads. Put that on a glue dot. Where's my glue dot? There. Nice little bow. there, there, and that's it. There you go. Once again, this is my own design. If you like it, please feel free to copy and share. And if you do make this card and you sell your cards, please use the Stampin' Up angel stamp on the back, which just says all the supplies used were Stampin' Up supplies. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.